Today is December 2nd, 2017. My title, Trap or Not. This is a bit of a humorous video, at least humorous to me. And I was looking up some stuff for the name series that I'm doing, talking about the name of God, and came across this blog at livingstingy.blogspot.ca. And I was saying, I guess it came up with my searching because I'd mentioned in the lesson about religion being a trap and talking about the many religions that are on the earth. And so I came across this, and it's just a little bit humorous, so this isn't really a teaching lesson, but I'll throw it out there for what it's worth. This article is titled The Religion Trap, and it's talking about people's beliefs and so on. Before that, I'll just read two scriptures here from Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 22 and 23, and this is after the 10 commandments were listed in that same chapter. These words the Lord spake unto all your assembly in the mount, out of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness, with a great voice. And he added no more. And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone, and delivered them unto me. And it came to pass, when ye heard the voice out of the midst of the darkness, for the mountain did burn with fire, that ye came near unto me, even all the heads of your tribes and your elders. Let me go back one chapter to Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 2. Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye diminish aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments of the Lord your God which I command you. So that's saying, don't change what you have been taught. Now, I'm not making light of the scriptures. Obviously, I believe in the Torah. I'm searching it out, but I do have many questions, as those who have been following me can tell. Some are following me because they're trying to unravel me, trying to undo what I'm about. And others are following me because they think they agree with some of the things I teach. But some are also following because they think I'm just interesting in the way I bring across my points. And people have taught these things already in the past for probably thousands of years, but they just think they like the way I'm presenting it, and that's fine. But this now, the religion trap, part 2, it says, it's got an image here on the page of Jesus on the cross and a couple people below, sad and so on, and probably a soldier or two in the background. Then it says, if you find this type of image highly offensive, that's a picture of the crucifixion there, then perhaps you have fell victim to the religion trap, because I guess the picture is kind of making fun of the crucifixion. So he says, if you find it offensive, you've fallen victim to the religion trap. On the other hand, if you think it is funny, there may be hope for you yet. So I didn't read the full article, so I'll just probably read the first 3 or 4 paragraphs and see what it's saying here. And this is just for you to think about religion, think about God, think about the Bible and any other holy text that you might read in your religion. I just want you to think, because I realized with myself that I didn't think things through. I didn't think properly or strategically about the whole idea of God or religion. When I was younger, I was simply drawn into it and continued to do so as I grew. And now, for the first time in my life, I'm thinking and evaluating religion and God. You might think that it is offensive or probably something bordering on blasphemy or so to say that I am judging God. But if God is going to judge me as I've been taught, why can't I judge him as well, in the sense that I want to test him? Because I see people in the Torah, they tested this God of the Bible. They wanted to prove him. So, they're trying to evaluate, what can you do for me? Why should I be, quote unquote, serving you or giving my life in your service and following your instructions and so on? So it says in my posting, The Religion Trap, I examined how many people end up spending an inordinate amount of time and money on religious organizations, often to their own detriment. And often later in life, they regret all these efforts and feel that the religion has somehow abused them. My, maybe not primary, but secondary reason for asking so many questions, as I've done in the last probably few videos with Adam and the Garden of Eden and so on, is because I'm searching for this being or this entity called God. What does he want from me? Why did he make us all, and so on? But I was also driven to this point greatly because I came to the point where I faced extreme disappointment when it came home to me that the people who are teaching about God that I was looking to for religious instruction, but also for an example in things religious, they were just a big disappointment to me. And what I found was, after leaving the Christian church, for the disappointment I found there, and coming into the Torah community, whether you're Hebrew Israelite or you're Jewish or you're a rabbi and so on, coming into the Torah community, I could tell that the Torah, and I'm going to take flack for this, but I could tell that the Torah does not have the capacity to change people's lives. And to rescue myself somewhat from that, I'll also add that maybe it is that the Torah does not have the capacity to change some people's lives, because they refuse to change, and the Torah will not always or will not force people to change, although that might be somewhat incorrect. But the teachers that I have found, not all, because some I do like and I have respect for and so on, from what I've seen of them, but some of them are in part the very reason why Torah was given, so that you will stay away from these kinds of people. But I find that some teachers of the Torah, from any nation that you're at, that you're a part of, some teachers of Torah represent the very evil that Torah warns against. And these people teach the rest of us the Torah. So I began to question, what is this thing called Torah or the Bible or the Word of God? And it can be the Word of God for you in whatever religion you are, in whatever holy text you call the Word of your God. I'm disappointed that people are not simply teaching some wrong things because they have just been misled, they found the wrong way. But I'm more disappointed that there are too many people who know that they are spreading deception, and they continue to do it because they do not trust the God that they say gave them the Torah. They do not trust that God to work out their lives and to bring them to the end point that they're reaching for by teaching the Torah almost daily. So because they do not trust him, they trust someone else who inspires them to teach evil and therefore to be evil. So I want to question this Torah. Why should I continue to believe in this book? Did God give this book? So it goes on here. Ex-Scientologists, for example, blame their religion, and it is one, for deceiving them, but fail to examine their own motives and actions. No one put a gun to their head and made them join, right? The fundamental problem with religions, and I do mean fundamental in every sense of the word, is that no matter what flavor religion it is, they all follow the same storyline to some extent. In every religion, the story goes like this, and this is a part I found funny, so I wanted to make the recording. The story goes like this in every religion. Once upon a time, there was this guy, and it's always a guy, right? Named Moses, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, Joseph Smith, L. Ron Hubbard, who had a religious vision. He talked with God, Jehovah, Allah, Thetans, or whatever, and they gave him stone tablets, visions, gold plates, scrolls, science fiction novels with rules of how everyone should live. And you see, that's really funny to me, like it's a serious issue. But these people who worldwide, from whatever religion, are teaching, especially in the major world religions, the top few major religions, these people who are at the forefront, the head of it all, teaching these things and raising up other people, funding them and so on to teach and make all these grand buildings to be their houses of instruction. These people, a lot of times at the head, are wicked. No, really, they are wicked. But they are the ones in charge of ensuring that you hear that your God in your religion gave these writings or these scrolls or these visions and so on, and you must believe this to live right on the earth and to be saved. But they themselves are not living right on the earth, and they are not interested in you being saved. They are instead killing you or damning you or poisoning you. Fast forward a few decades after these gods have given these gold plates or scrolls and visions and so on in stone tablets. So fast forward a few decades or a couple thousand years, and now we have an organized religion. So notice the trend. You get all this preliminary stuff, and after a couple thousand years or so, automatically an organized, well, I shouldn't say automatically, but an organized religion eventually comes out of it. It can't just be that people are just living like this loosely with these beliefs. There seems to be a truth that an organized religion must come out of these stone tablets or visions or metal plates with the quote-unquote word of your God. According to the religion, we all have to live by these rules laid down by the guy on the stone tablets, gold plates, ancient scrolls, or science fiction novels. We all have to live by what's written on them, with no room for dispute or discussion. Oh, and by the way, give us your money. So that's what the article is saying. Yeah, and it's funny because no matter which ancient person said this or that, wrote this scroll, chiseled on some stone tablets or presented stone tablets, there is no room for discussion or dispute with this or that guy. First of all, he lived a long time ago. He's dead and gone. Sometimes you can't even find him. his family or his, I mean, where are the distant brothers and sisters of Moses and his cousins and so on? But this is something I'm going to do in the New Testament is Fake series. But I'm starting to wonder, how deeply devoted should I be toward the Old Testament? You see, so far, I believe there is a Torah, but I've said before, Torah, according to my belief, Torah is within Torah. So that we have been given a Torah with extra fluff and extra stuff around it, so you cannot easily decipher the pure Torah. Like some extra things have been added in there, and you've got to work hard to strip away the extras to find the real Torah that may have been given by this God. So you can't argue with these people, and I bet you if I search on it, I will find it. But at least just from regular day-to-day knowledge over the many years I've been reading the Bible, it is not common knowledge that Moses' great grandson or cousin or distant third or 50th nephew is living in this or that particular land and is over there and whatever, and he lives in a mansion or a hut. Now, if such a person is alive that was related to Moses or Elijah or any one of these people in the Old Testament, why are they not rich from it today? Or why isn't a street named after them? Or why are they not asked to teach from the scriptures every Sabbath or every Sunday? These people seem to not exist. They are very powerful figures in the Old Testament or in your ancient Vedic scriptures or whatever holy text you use. All these people don't seem to have any present day descendants that are verified in large numbers across these different religions. Now, you might find one guy here that says, oh, I'm a descendant of whatever. But most of the religions can't claim that. So I find it kind of strange that God, in all these religions, gave superhuman or super powerful revelations and directions to all of these people from ancient times. And instead of it being a blessing to them that their children are alive in 2017 walking down the streets of New York or Toronto, instead of that being the case, they seem to have suffered a curse of not having their descendants being able to be traced when they were used to pass on the instructions of the Creator to the entire world. Why? There seems to be always some fancy reason why you cannot quite trace. Yeah, you can trace the general group of people or the nation, but you cannot trace or tell a particular descendant in that person's house who got the word from God initially. I'm tired of people cursing me because I want to ask questions. So, this is just really strange. But we cannot reach any of these ancient peoples for dispute or discussion, as the blog is saying. You can't ask Moses anything. You can't ask Elijah about his Mount Carmel stuff. You can't ask him to redemonstrate and prove once again that Yahweh is the God of Israel or the God of the whole earth, because it was necessary to prove that at that time. But now when the world is more anti-God, and it should be more necessary because, look at the world today, and we're arguing over the text and people are searching for God like crazy. You can't tell me that just because Christians don't believe in your Torah the way you teach it, that Christians aren't looking for God, because I was a Christian most of my life, and I did not believe in the Torah, but I was looking for God. So don't tell me Christians aren't looking for God just because they don't keep the Sabbath. People are looking for God whether they are black or white, and I'm sick of people telling me that people in general are not looking for God. And that white people don't care about God and stuff like that. That is garbage. Okay, look at the funny way that he puts this part now. We are told by the religion that what some guy wearing a sheet said 1,000 years ago or more is the end all to life on earth. For some reason, people back then were apparently smarter than we are today, so we have to follow what they said, no questions asked. So whether it was Moses, Joseph Smith, L. Ron Hubbard, or George Washington, we have to follow what the guy said because he knew, and you don't know compared to him. You don't know shit compared to him. Even though in most cases, the guy probably, okay, I don't want to read his, he's starting to get kind of nasty right there, but you can understand he's probably upset at the whole thing as well. But here's the catch. You see, the organized religion that sprang up out of the original vision of the founder now claims to control and own the message and any interpretation thereof, and moreover, they reserve the right to themselves to make up new rules. And he goes on. Okay, this part is interesting here, which is where I'm at. Right? Some people there, oh, I'm falling off, or I don't believe the Torah, I don't sound like a regular Israelite teacher and stuff like that. So, it's just crazy. But it says religion is based on belief, not science. Belief is not something that can be tested in a laboratory. It is by definition something that you take on faith without proof. Even atheists have beliefs, although they might not admit it. So he says we all do. And that's really where I find myself lately, admitting to myself that this is something I believe when I pick up this Torah. It is really something I believe. I have never seen Moses. I've never talked with him. I've never talked with Elijah or any other prophet. Never. But I am told. I thought today to myself, God must speak. I don't want to get into it heavily here because it was, for another video, but God must speak. Well, let me just briefly mention this part here, that people in the Torah found it necessary for who we call God to speak or act, especially on their behalf, in order to verify his word or in order to prove himself to them, like in protecting them and so on, or feeding them, giving them food. And he would always respond. He has to do that or he will lose their interest. So people challenged him, they tested him, they asked him questions. Can you do this for me? I put down this fleece and whatever. People did all that kind of stuff. Sometimes they just straight out cried out. In the book they cried out and he showed up. But when people cry out today, outside of the pages of the book, when they cry out today, he does not show up. So as long as you are in the book, God does all kinds of extraordinary things, miraculous things, and he is almost always ready to respond in some kind of way. If he doesn't give you lightning or thunder, then someone will just appear out of nowhere and give you some food or something, or come with a word, and that person is called a prophet. But you're going to usually get some kind of response, some dynamic response from this God of the Bible. But when you close the book and you drive down the street and your car starts to make some funny sound, and you realize while you are stranded and you are hours away from home, God does not answer you. At least not in the way that he would answer people in the Old Testament. If you believe you are serving God, right, and somebody's going to drop some bombs on you because they want your land, or they just want to get you out of the way, whatever, or they want you to side with them, so they're going to keep hurting you until you decide to work along with them. No crime from God stops that bomb from falling on you. None. Instead, more people around the world will cry for and with you because of what happened to you. So the response comes from the people who are helping to rescue the rest of you who did not die, and burying the rest who did die, and feeding you and so on, and helping you through that time, getting you medical help and so on, or helping you to relocate, things like that, as some kind of refugee. The response comes from people, not from the God you believed in. Now, I know you're going to say, in a very important sense, the assistance of other people is a response from God. So in religious thought, yes, I accept that, I understand. But you know what I mean? Is that God doesn't respond in terms of sending an angel to stop that bomb from falling on your head. And you could actually be in a house of worship, worshiping him and teaching about him. It's going to drop on you anyway, unhindered. These questions I'm asking are coming to me because of the book. All right, so I'll end it here with his last paragraph by saying, I am not advocating an abdication of religious belief. However, the religious have to examine themselves and take responsibility for their actions when religious leaders fail them. People have to be responsible for their own individual actions. We can't blame popes, imams, or Jim Jones for misdeeds, when it is the followers of the religions that allow such misdeeds to occur. And that's a good enough point right there. People allow themselves to be led and continue to be deceived because they have chosen that. Why don't more of us ask some stronger questions? Like, can you destroy the Torah if you ask very strong questions that are not usually asked on a Sunday morning or at a Sabbath meeting? If you can destroy the Torah with your questioning, it was not Torah to begin with. So why are you afraid to ask your teachers or ask yourself certain questions? If Torah is from God, if your Bible is from God, you will not be able to break it. So why are you afraid of making your teacher tremble the same way you tremble inside when you wonder about some of the things I'm covering? And more of the people who are ticked off at thoughts like you've heard here are the people who are more connected to the teachers or to their religions. The people who are loosely connected aren't as worried. So the people who are like teachers or who support the teachers in their religions and support the religious movements, like with their money or with a lot of their time, these people cannot stand it when these kinds of questions or thoughts are voiced. If your God started all of this life, why do you need to worry? when you hear things like you've heard in this video? Is it because you are so worried that a serious challenge to your religious system will take it down? If that's the case, then maybe you just don't have enough faith that your God who started it all and gave the stone tablets or the visions and so on, maybe you just don't think that God is capable of completing it. Like he can't uphold it anymore. Or what? What is it that you really fear when I ask and share things like I've shared in this lesson and others? What troubles you when I ask questions about Adam? And the writing that people are saying, researchers are saying was there before Adam was created. What troubles you? What bothers you? To the point where you go and you do another lesson in response to what I have said and what so many others before me have said. To go and do another lesson with the same information you gave before, which only tends to reinforce what you have already taught your followers. Because regurgitation and reiteration is important for religion, because without it, religious thought and system dies. If a new question is asked by people, like what about the people that are reportedly found to have been living before Adam, or the writing that was there before Adam, or the cities that were there before Eden and Adam, what is it about those kinds of things that trouble you?